Hello and welcome back to finally the second part of the Bandits vs Pirates for experience comparison. This second part will only be covering the Pirates area since I already covered the Bandits one in the previous video. Now, before I get into the experience part, I will remind you guys of some of the important things that you are supposed to keep in mind. So, first off, I am a level 59 ranger and I have about 200 AP, and I can say that I grind faster than most people usually do. And for these two videos, I grinded the monsters as fast as possible, so that means this is purely intended to show the maximum experience that I could make, since I didn't loot anything from the ground manually. The only loot that I got is from my pets alone, so if you're going to do the same, then you better have high tier pets, or if you don't, then you're going to leave a trail of drops on your back just like I did. And as for the experience, I know there are many ways to increase it, but for this comparison I only went with the basics. So I had 100% experience from the weekend event, I had 10% experience from my costume and another 8% from milk tea. Also, for those who are wondering, yes, my voice probably sounds a bit different, and that's because outside is really cold and my choices on what clothes to wear didn't exactly give me good results, to say. So now that this all has been clarified, for this video I tested 3 different rotations, with only 2 of those being actually usable, sadly, and you will see that in a moment. The first rotation I tried is the one with an opening to the sea, or ocean, or whatever it is. And the problem was, this rotation for me back when I started, or back when I was lower level, was actually really nice for soloing. But now with my current gear, I find it to be too small. I tried killing the monsters here as fast as possible, and after getting back to the beginning of the rotation, it turns out that the first group didn't respawn yet, so I can't exactly kill them as fast as possible and keep on doing the rotation over and over because the mobs didn't respawn in time. As a result of that, I extended this rotation, adding a part of those mobs that are in the forest nearby, and this actually makes the rotation number 1 that you will see on the map, or you actually already saw on the map. Now, as I do not want to make the same mistake I did in my previous video, this time I'm not going to read the data, it will just be on the screen, and also the rotations will be sped up or fast forwarded to match my speech, so I don't have to find something to say on that time. For some people this might be a problem because the speed of the rotation is not going to actually be the normal speed, but it's worth to test this out and see the result after the video is out, I suppose. The result of this first rotation would be 0.022% experience per minute, and I must say this first rotation is probably the one you will find most often empty out of the 3 that I have tested. The only problem I can see about this one is that I extended this rotation a little bit too much, maybe, as the mobs do respawn in time, but there is also time for someone else to steal the spot, since half of the time you will be in the forest, so the part near the sea will be empty, leaving it to seem as it is open and untaken. But again, these tests are made just to see the maximum experience, since I'm sure most people just loot the drops from the ground and they don't just go and kill every single mob they see on the rotation without looting anything, so you're most likely going to do just the part that is near the sea without having to extend it. Moving on to the second spot, I don't know exactly how this one is called, but it's that spot on top of the mountain. Basically, as you walk to the main spot, you take the right and you climb the hill and you go on top of the mountain. And the first thing that I can tell you about this spot is that for my tests, this one is unusable. The problem here is that this is not exactly a rotation. Basically, you start at one point and you kill all of the groups, you reach the end, and then you have to run back to the beginning point. It's not a circle, it's more of a line, I would say. and the problem is that it already uses basically all of the monsters on the mountain, and there is no way I can actually extend the rotation any further. And if I just do the normal rotation, again I get back to the beginning of it and there are no monsters respawned, so I cannot keep on killing them. So since this rotation again doesn't have enough monsters for me to keep killing them constantly, it makes it unusable for this particular test. But I will be covering this spot on the next video, since I do plan to release another video testing again these 3 rotations, but this time including the time it takes to loot the drop from the ground, because here at Pirates rotations seem to be pretty small compared to Bandits. So if you're going to grind here, then you might as well just loot from the ground. And the third spot that I got to test is the one that is right behind the main spot. And I must say that for soloing, and especially for the type of grinding that I'm doing right now, it turns out to be the best one. In my time spent here, I found out that if I do the entire rotation, when I get back to the beginning of it, only 1 or 2 groups are already respawned. So with only 1 or 2 groups respawned, there isn't really much time for anyone else to try to steal my rotation. As for the experience, you can see on the screen that this spot is around 0.023% experience per minute, so it's actually better than the first rotation. And if you already saw the Bandits video and you compare this one to the Bandits video, you can see that this rotation has more experience than all of the Bandits rotations. So in terms of experience, it turns out to be the best one. Now, with all this being said, I still cannot say that Pirates are better than Bandits, because I spent here most of my Saturday and Sunday, and it was really hard to actually find a spot and keep it solo for more than 15 minutes. For these 3 rotations, I actually had to keep on testing them like 2 or 3 times each, because I was getting interrupted by other people who are still in groups or just trying to PK me out of the spot and stuff like that. At least on weekends, this spot seems to be really populated, so getting a spot might be hard, and I'm not sure that I can say the same about Bandits, because I remember I actually had an easier time to test out the Bandits area. Of course, this might just be luck, but in my opinion, Bandits seem to be a bit less populated than Pirates, at least at the moment. Another problem might be that, as I said before, here at Pirates, rotations seem to be quite short on groups. I mean the group of monsters that they have, because at Bandits I never had this problem of actually running out of monsters before they can respawn, since the rotations at Bandits are bigger. Now, for those who are wondering, I did try many times to switch channels and attempt to find the main spot free. I even tried a few times around 4 AM in the morning, but I still couldn't find the main spot at Pirates free. So I know most people probably wanted to see the main spot, or maybe that's the main reason they wanted to see the Pirates video, but since I couldn't find the main spot empty at all, I didn't cover it. From my experience, this shouldn't be much of a problem though, because the Pirates main spot is usually, or actually most of the time, taken by teams. So even if I would test it, the main spot isn't really a place to solo. And that's basically the main point of these 2 videos, to see the experience that you can get solo. Even if you do get the main spot free, you will most likely get PK'd or get kicked out of the spot pretty shortly. So to get to the conclusion part, I would say that yes, Pirates indeed have more experience than Bandits, but the difference is quite small. And here is a question for you. Is it really worth it to come here to grind on a more populated spot with no city nearby or a trade manager for those who want to fish overnight, and with probably worse loot due to those turn-in items and accessories that take up marketplace space, just to get that tiny bit of little more experience? At least at Bandits, the junk items can be sold to any NPC since they don't have to be turned in, and you get those Pilaf scrolls instead of the cheap accessories, and also you have a city nearby. Not to mention that the villa buff from the Bandits might actually make the experience be about the same anyway. So in the end, I would say that I personally would prefer bandits over pirates. Now, if your gear isn't that good, then by all means just choose pirates. They are easier to kill, so people with lower gear are better off at pirates. But if your gear is close to mine, then why bother with pirates when bandits are better in terms of money, income, and possibly less populated, making it easier to actually grind something. Now, this conclusion is already quite long, so before I end the video I want to say that for the fun of it I will test in the next video the experience at pirates, but this time including the time it takes to loot from the ground. Because at pirates spots are quite small, so if you're going to grind here then you might as well just loot everything from the ground. If you want to go only for the experience, then probably bandit is better since it has more groups, so you're not going to run out of mobs. Now, for those who didn't see the bandits video yet, it will be linked at the end of this video. So thanks to everyone for watching and see you guys on the next video.